Okay, this is the next question for the EXO Mountain Gear challenge for April, the equipment assessment challenge. This question is if I'm going to successfully execute the hunt plan that I committed to in March, or if I were to take or to win the hunt of a lifetime as part of this challenge, the sheep hunt, what changes, if any, do I need to make to my weapon system? How can I improve the reliability, consistency of my weapon? In what ways do I need to become more familiar and confident using my weapon? Are there upgrades I have wanted to make but that wouldn't actually move the needle in my shooting proficiency? And should I focus more money and time elsewhere? All good questions. So, this is probably the third or fourth time I mentioned it. Now I'm getting into the nitty gritty of the details. Um, I'll show you my current rifle. Well, let me start from the beginning, I guess. Um, I was given this rifle when I was, I think, 14, somewhere between 14 and 15. This is made by FN from Belgium. I believe it was made in like 1961. It is chambered in 257 Roberts. So many of you watching this may have never even heard of that caliber. So it's a 25 caliber, but it's kind of an old cartridge. Bullet grain weights, I think 117 is the highest. That's usually what I get. The Hornady has an SST. That's really the only ammo I've ever been able to find that I've stocked up on. So anyway, I've killed one animal with this. It was a spike elk here in Utah, a spike elk tag during the rifle hunt. Took several shots, and originally when I killed that spike, with probably, I think I shot close to 7 times, somewhere around 7 times. Um, After that experience, I didn't feel good about my performance, and naturally, was blaming the gun and the equipment, which I guess to give some more history, I guess I was worried about it because there's more than just me missing. So as you can tell, there's no sling on this. There's a sling stud here. There's supposed to be a sling stud here. However, it constantly falls out. Like this, the actual stud will never stay in. I've taken it to probably 4 or 5 gunsmiths to try to fix it. None of them been able to fix it. Tried to do it myself. Same thing. Um, so I have it slung on my back with the sling, and then this will just pop out, and the barrel falls into the ground, and yeah, it's not been good. Another thing that happened, I guess I better make sure this is clear, and it is. Um, this trigger, you can see that the trigger is just, if I do it from this side, this trigger, look how much travel there is, and it's just really squishy. So once me and my brother were hunting together, and uh, we saw a spike on this hillside away from us, probably something like 200 yards away, if I had to guess. Didn't have a rangefinder. My brother took the first shot. Neither of us saw the spike go down or feel like he was hurt or anything like that. So that is my turn to take the next shot. I have one chambered. I pull the trigger. Nothing happens. It's because the safety's on. This is the safety. So if I rack the bolt here, safety's on. See, it's just kind of sticky already. Safety's on. I pull the trigger. Nothing happens. So I flip the safety down, and the gun goes off after I flip the safety down. The trigger, my finger was off the trigger. What had happened is that it got stuck rearward, and caused I guess, a negligent discharge technically. Um, so that was a bad experience where I didn't quite understand what had gone on at the time, and caused us to miss that spike, not kill him. Just the trigger was sticky, so we did take that to a gunsmith, and he cleaned it out and said there was like Christmas tinsel in there and a whole bunch of stuff that I'm sure, from, I don't know what. This is my grandpa's gun that my great grandpa, actually, my grandpa gave it to me, passed it down to me, and it will stay in my family. But it's just not the level of performance that I wanted it to be at. With having to deal with the sling, So without a sling, I always had to carry it by hand, which isn't the biggest deal, but it's an annoyance. I do shoot left-handed. This is obviously a right-handed rifle. So that was kind of like, yeah, I'm having to put up with that, but especially the trigger and having some like misfires and things like that. I don't know if misfire is the right terminology, but it would fire when I wouldn't want it to, right? Um, yeah. So overall, I didn't have a lot of confidence in this rifle, and like I said, I've had it since I was 14. Um, Missed probably several animals, and I just didn't have a lot of confidence with it. And at the time, I thought I just need a new rifle. I just need something different, which I think partly is true, but in the same vein, I just needed more practice. I just, being young and inexperienced and in school and stuff, I didn't have the time to go and practice that much different shooting. I didn't, know where to even go for, I had to rely on other people to get that type of time behind the gun. And yeah, I was just unhappy with it and just felt like a new gun would solve my issues. So since I was early 20s. I'm 30, almost 32 now. I've been like saving up money to buy a really nice rifle, at least what I thought was a good, not like custom rifle, but a good rifle to start with that I could make it, fairly customized to me and that I was happy with it and I, felt confident in it. So that's when I bought, I bought this, I think 3 years ago, maybe just 2 years ago. So being left-handed, I wanted one in left hand, and I wanted a Remington 700 action. Um, both those things are very difficult to find, both left-handed and Remington 700. Um, the reason I wanted a left-hand rifle, again, a lot of the hunting I do is still hunting, which means you're walking slowly through the woods and you're being observant, and most of the shots I actually take are under I don't think I've ever shot out to 300 yards on an animal. It's always been under that, probably even under 200 yards. If I'm taking a standing shot, I shoot. If I need to reload, if I need to use my right hand to reload, see how the gun dips down and I can't stay in it? That's much harder than just using this left hand to reload and I can stay in it. Okay. And I had people tell me that that's silly, like just use a right-handed rifle. You use one your whole life. Um, Again, if I was going to spend my own money on this and buy something nice, wanted to do it right. And sure enough, this year when I shot my spike, he was kind of behind some limbs. There was some deadfall that he was behind, and I ended up, knowing that I might miss because of the deadfall or hit a limb or something. First shot, I miss, but I was able to quickly rack another round while taking a standing shot and kill that spike with a second shot and a quick follow up. And that would have been much more difficult to do if it was a right-handed rifle like I just showed you. So if anyone out there watches this and think like, oh, I'm left-handed, or does it matter? I think it does matter. I think you should get, if you're going to spend your money, you should get something that fits you and that is properly meant for you as a shooter. Okay. So that's, this, by the way, is a Bergara, which is a Remington 700 platform. The reason I wanted a Remington 700 platform is just the aftermarket capability, that I could upgrade this over time, switch out parts, trigger, several things. The scope rings would be easy to come by and be able to put it into a chassis eventually, or even switch back and forth if I wanted to. A lot of people would say like, well, why not a Tikka? There's probably not as much, but a good amount of aftermarket stuff for Tikka. At the time, Tikka did not thread their barrels. I still don't have a suppressor, but is something that I would like to do. But at the time when I bought this, Tikka did not thread their barrels from the factory, and Bergara does, or did and still does. Also, Tikka stocks, I'm sure everyone complains about Tikka stock that's just really plasticky, cheap feeling. Bergara does not do that. This stock has obviously an adjustable cheek piece, and the stock compared to the Tikka is like a rubberized, more just like solid feeling stock. It actually feels nice. I really actually enjoy the stock. The biggest issue with this one is I'd prefer an Arca rail. You can always add one, but I didn't want to, I guess, do the DIY adding an Arca rail here by the Magwell. I do wish it came with a removable magazine bottom metal, an AICS, bottom metal, compatible bottom metal, M5, I guess it is. For some reason in Europe, that's how these rifles come in the Europe market, but not in the US. But it would be easy enough to switch out if I wanted to. And most importantly, the grip. So I will show you this when firing this rifle. If I'm taking a standing shot, like this is me having a full grip, and as far as my trigger finger comes out, like that's comfortable right there, and my trigger finger is not near what I want it to be as far as having a square, a square press towards the rear. And I often have left misses because I'm pulling the rifle to the left as I'm pulling the trigger, jerking it. It's hard to get that, square trigger press. So often when I'm taking a standing shot, I will sometimes, if it's under 100 yards, I'll just sacrifice having a fairly poor trigger press for a good grip on the rifle. But if I am prone or kneeling, I will often sacrifice not gripping the grip and get a square trigger press. So, love everything about the rifle, just the grip is not what I want it to be. Everything else I love about this rifle, I guess to go over other details, this is a Vortex LHT 4.5 to 22. Vortex Razor, I should say. Vortex Razor LHT, and just the Vortex caps, scope caps, lens caps. I guess they're not lens caps, but objective caps. These rings are Hawkins precision rings. I think these are the lightweight or ultra lightweight. I can't remember. Whatever one. They have ones that come with the bubble level and ones that don't. These have the bubble level. Sling is a Quake Claw. I really like this sling. It's adjustable here, which I like. I can shorten it and lengthen it, and this is just the grippiest sling I've ever used. Yeah, have all good things to say about this sling. So now talking about upgrading this to a chassis. I mentioned it in the previous video, but I'll mention it here. So as like a goal for this year, like part of my gear list, I wanted to buy a XLR chassis. This is the Magnesium, the Element 4.0 chassis. I put on Rockslide that I was looking for a used one and what my budget was. And I think it took about a month and someone responded. I would look every day for used ones just because they seemed like they were hard to get. But someone finally responded and said, hey, I've got a used one. I prefer traditional stock. I'm selling mine. He gave it to me for $850, which is about half. And $850 plus 2 magazines. That's about half of what you can get a new one for on XLR's website, with the carbon buttstock, the carbon grip, the folding adapter, the thumb rest, even these QD mounts. It's probably closer to like $1750. So this is actually from Bergara. It says Bergara on here instead of XLR. Bergara has I think they call it the MG Lite, Bergara Premier MG Lite. So he bought one of those from the factory, kept the barreled action, and sold me this. And he's like, yeah, I mean, it says Bergara instead of XLR, so that's fine because I have a Bergara. He did add this backstop recoil pad. I obviously haven't shot this yet. I've kind of wondered about this I've seen the Jim on backstop or backfire. Honestly, it seems pretty cheap. I don't understand. Like, maybe I'll be shocked and surprised, but it's obviously 3D printed. It just seems like plasticky, not really like that much of a rubbery feel. It just, to me, feels really cheap and probably a gimmick in my opinion, but who knows? I haven't tried it yet, but I'm just so far not impressed. with how it feels. So what I want to do now is the remainder of this video, well, I guess, again, I'm hoping I'm going to test whether I can already tell like this feels more comfortable and I can get my trigger finger in there. Obviously there's the barrel and action's not in here, but what I want to do is to weigh my guns, and then I'm going to take out the barrel and the action and the scope and mount it in this chassis and weigh them before and after basically and see how much weight savings I'm going to save, and as I guess information for anyone else who wants to do something like this. But so I'm going to pause this and I'm going to, well, I guess before I pause it, let me weigh this chassis as it sits. So again, this has the two QD mounts here and here. Has the, not the original butt pad. It may weigh more or less. Folding adapter, thumb rest. Yeah, let's see how much it weighs. Come on, scale. All right, well, my scale won't even register this, so maybe I have to go get the food scale. Let me go do that. I'll pause this video. Okay, brought the food scale out. This is measuring in ounces. It says 33.83 ounces. Almost 2 pounds, 2 ounces. Okay. Weighing my current rifle, it is, I'm not sure the best way to weigh this and get it to balance, but this says 148 ounces. Let's make a note of that. This one, Grandpa's rifle, weighs 147. Check this one again. Yeah, 148. Maybe the same if they, I don't know how much the sling weighs, but maybe they'd be near identical. Just picking them up though. Yeah, hard to tell the difference between the weight. Okay, I'm gonna pause the video. I'm gonna take this barreled action out and mount it to that. Okay, got it in the chassis. This is what it looks like. Adjusted the cheek piece so it was a negative comb, the height I wanted to. Luckily didn't have to change the scope, the eye relief. I need to get some ammo and check to make sure it feeds okay. But so far I'm liking how everything fits. So let's weigh it. Both scales, right? So 148 ounces with the other rifle. This one, 138. So 10 ounces saved. Obviously this is not a carbon fiber barrel. This is just a steel barrel. It's kind of thicker. Bergara is known for having a thicker barrel. I'm going to use the food scale, which said 138 ounces and 148 before, so 10 ounces lighter weight overall. Let's see. Yeah, I need my phone to convert how many ounces that is, but recoil wise, I wanted the rear to be lighter weight and the front end to be heavier so that, recoil, the barrel should keep the recoil down. So I was okay with, having a little bit thicker of a barrel. Maybe in the future upgrade to a carbon fiber barrel to shave some weight if I wanted to. So let's weigh the other stock. Let's see, it is 39.76, and the other one was, can't remember now what it was. I'll have to look back. But I think it was in the 39 range. So this is like 40 ounces. This one was a little over 2 pounds. I don't know, didn't save a ton of weight, but at least for backpacking purposes, this has a folding stock, easier to backpack with, just like small profile. Thought about getting a smaller scope. I don't know that I really use the upper range of this scope. Just make the overall profile smaller, but for now, this is what I got. I'm going to be happy with it and use it for some backpack hunts, hopefully in the near future. Okay, so that's the weapon upgrade, I guess, the main reason. Again, we'll check to see how it feeds, but compared to the rifle before, look, like if I use that thumb rest and have my trigger, that is money. Just a nice square. Ooh, yeah, love that. And I can adjust the trigger, which I've never done on this trigger before. It feels pretty good now, but I might play with it just because. But overall, it feels, the trigger and just this vertical grip feels way better than it did before. So that's the main thing. And also for backpack hunts, having a folding stock. So overall, I think I'm happy. I'm excited to go out and shoot it, see how I like it. Shooting off a tripod, it's another thing with the integrated ARCA rail. Don't have to have a clamp, which I had to do before. So even if weight-wise it's sixes or roughly sixes, just the feature set on this gives me more, maybe not capabilities. Yeah, I guess the ARCA rail capability and bigger trigger pull, but just some conveniences as well. So that's the upgrade to my weapon system, and I plan to switch back and forth depending on what type of hunting I'm doing. If I'm hunting off the horse, I'll probably use this traditional stock. If I'm backpack hunting, I'll use this folding stock. But that's it.